Alright, so we just got a brand new trailer for Gen V Season 2, and there is a lot going on, like way more than I expected. We're talking surprise returns, some serious setup for what could tie it straight into the final season of The Boys, and I got a bunch of thoughts, theories, and breakdowns for you guys in today's video. So as we said, the newest trailer for Gen V Season 2 dropped. After we got a taste of the boys' world post-Homelander takeover, we know that the Supes have essentially begun segregating humans and Supes in this world. At the start of the trailer, we see Marie Moreau get attacked by Dognot, a Supe that was mentioned in Season 4 of The Boys as a potential candidate for the Seven. Looks like he's been delegated to the Seven's secret attack dog. No pun there. Right before Dognot injects her with, I'm assuming, a drug to knock her out or kill her, we see Starlight blast him. Starlight, having escaped Homelander's capture of a chunk of the boys and looks like she's just fine now, I theorized in a previous video that Starlight would be hiding with her mom after the events of the roundup. Well, looks like she's running some counter movement and actively recruiting agents in her fight against Homelander by asking Marie to find out what Project Odessa is and to stop it. We'll go into the details of what I think Project Odessa is later, but for now, we see Marie basically go back to Godolkin as part of her mission from Starlight. It looks like that exchange to come back was what that scene from the teaser trailer with her and Dean Cypher was basically about. We know that Marie is being sent on a mission here, which is why she's acting a little bit off. It's probably also because she has a history with Dean Cypher. As Emma says in the trailer, it looks like Dean Cypher used to work at Elmira Adult Rehabilitation Center, where the main cast was being held after the events of the Season 1 finale. Cypher could have been a warden or a head researcher because knowing how Vought likes to run things, there's always a secret lab experimenting on people somewhere in their buildings. Which is why he said that line,
I twitch away from leaping across this table and ripping my throat out with your teeth.
Probably due to his previous treatment of the main cast before he was elevated to the Dean of Godolkin University, and also probably why Marie looks so on edge in this scene. She's going face to face with an abusive figure, and essentially she's under a covert mission. Then we see the main cast being celebrated on Thomas Godolkin Day. Like his name suggests, Thomas Godolkin was the founder of Godolkin University alongside Frederick Vought. Although Dean Shetty revealed that the school was always a front to study how Supes work, hence the secret labs, basically so that the Vought Corporation could keep an eye on all Supes. With the new Homelander regime, I think that Vought is trying to really capitalize on the Guardians of Godolkin branding, and bringing in Emma and Jordan Lee as part of the Guardians, even though they were previously framed as being some of the bad guys. This was probably at the insistence of Kate. Maybe she feels guilty for having her friends basically arrested and thrown into a jail, and this is her messed up way to basically turn them back over to her side. Well, it's basically only Jordan and Emma. Because it also looks like Dean Cypher has a plan for Marie, as he keeps referring to her as maybe one of the most powerful Supes in the world, even more powerful than Homelander. This makes some sense, as her powers allow her to basically control the blood inside of another person, superhuman. Much like Victoria Newman. In fact, they had an entire scene where they compared powers. And people were afraid of her, like she was a walking nuclear bomb. Then again, I'd probably also be on edge if someone could explode my head simply by looking at me and thinking it. But they keep referring to her as one of the most powerful Supes on the planet, and the joke at the end of the trailer about being the chosen one. It does seem like a lot of people are hedging their bets on Marie being basically the savior. The savior of what or who? Well, probably to defeat Homelander, considering a good chunk of the characters aren't aware of Billy Butcher being in control of the Supe-killing virus, currently on his way to kill Homelander. Another aspect we see visited during this trailer and that we're gonna get answers for during the season will be where Andre went. As you can tell, we know where Emma and Jordan are, being inducted as the Guardians of Godolkin, but we don't know where Andre is, neither does his dad. So his storyline will be trying to figure out what happened to Andre. We do say that Andre has a medical dossier on him during this scene where Dean Cypher asks, do you want to know what Odessa is? Which means that Andre could have been chosen or sacrificed himself to be part of Project Odessa, and it could have resulted in his death. Why else would they have a patient profile on him? although this could also just be his dossier from the Elmira Adult Institute. Either way, it looks like his storyline will be a massive part of this season, along with his father, Polarity, attempting to uncover what happened to his son. Now, I think this is a great way to honor Chance by having his character still be involved in this season's major plot. So now that we keep hearing about it, let's go over what I think that Project Odessa really is. As we hear from Starlight during the beginning of the trailer, Project Odessa is something that Thomas Godolkin was working on during his early days of working with Vought. We can see this in the trailer. The scientist guy in the trailer is Thomas Godolkin himself, and while we see the other scientists injecting themselves with some substance, which kind of leads to their grisly deaths, it looks like Vought had shelved the project after that incident. However, this is not the first time that we've seen Project Odessa. We actually saw it during the last season of The Boys, during the episode where Homelander goes to visit the lab of the scientists who experimented on him growing up. We can see on the bulletin board that there is a memo detailing Project Odessa. It doesn't really tell us what it is, it just says that the scientists are down there working on it, because Barbara Finley is on the project, or was before Homelander destroyed her and her entire team. So the team that was down there was actively working on the project before Homelander came in and murdered all of them. The name Odessa actually has some connection to World War II, as the purported Nazi escape organization that helped high-ranking SS members escape via the rat lines, although some groups deny that the Odessa ever existed. So why this name for the project? For a serum that looks like it's basically another version of Compound V? Well, that part I cannot really connect, as the project was named back when Godolkin and Vought were around, back in the 1960s, way before Homelander even existed. And the scientists that were in the underground lab were actively working on some form of Project Odessa. I can only assume that Project Odessa was part of one of many experiments that Vought was doing to essentially make their all-American poster hero. Maybe Odessa was like some of the previous experiments made to develop the perfect hero, and as we can see, the initial experiments did not go well, and were probably shelved in favor of Vogelbaum's experiment that ended up creating Homelander. So maybe Vought restarted Project Odessa as a way to replace Homelander, because at the time he was seen as unpredictable behind the scenes. So maybe Vought was gonna sunset him and replace him with someone else. And this new experiment is probably being run by Dean Cypher as a way to make someone more powerful than him, because Homelander has pretty much gone off the deep end. Much like Dean Shetty in the previous season with the soup-killing virus, because I don't think that Dean Cypher is as loyal to Homelander's regime as he's letting on. But also, I could be entirely wrong, and this could just be making a human-killing virus, which would be kind of like retreading an old idea, but the trailer and the hints that we're getting don't hint to that at all. Either way, like last season, I think the repercussions from this season of Gen V will lead right into the final season of The Boys. Whether we see someone from this season be turned into a weapon against Homelander, like maybe in Marie, or we see Homelander attempt to utilize a biological weapon that'll kill all humans and leave the world in the hands of the Soups. We can only guess until the season comes out. But that's all I have for today's video. Please leave us a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Leave us a hashtag mailbag question to be answered in a future video, and we'll see you guys next time.